Hello everybody and welcome! While The Odyssey is racking up box office records at cinemas worldwide, there was another Odyssey I really liked a few years back. A Space Odyssey. Yes, Stanley Kubrick's masterpiece 2001 A Space Odyssey featured a very special spaceship, Discovery 1. And since some of you asked me to go visit the Jupiter moons in Kitten's Space Agency in one of my previous videos, how about we go there in style? So yeah, I tried to recreate Discovery 1 in KSA. Now, if you've been a long-time viewer of this channel, back in the day when Kitten's Space Agency wasn't even a thought in the mind of its creators, there was of course its spiritual predecessor, Kerbal Space Program. And yes, for the 50-year anniversary of 2001 A Space Odyssey, I recreated Discovery 1 in Kerbal Space Program back in the day, and I also wrote a mission profile to play with Discovery. And yes, there was an evil AI called Cal 9000 that prevented to open the pod bay doors. Now, we don't have any of those yet, at least in Kitten's Space Agency. But maybe they will add some type of computerized anything in the future, so if you're interested in the development of this game and all things space related, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you won't miss an update. Anyway, back to building Discovery 1 in Kitten's Space Agency. This is going to be a lot less complex than my recreation in KSP. Main reason for that is we don't yet have any moving parts and we only have one capsule module, and there's a lot of other basic parts that I would usually use missing, so I'm just making do with what I have here. But what I do have here is a scaling tool. And with this I was able to make that huge spherical object in the front, which would be the habitation and science and computer and pod bay module in the film. By the way, yes, for KSP back in the day I even recreated a functioning centrifuge for this, wouldn't you believe that? Fortunately, KSA does something that KSP doesn't, or the other way around. Nothing in KSA wobbles, so you can build huge stacks out of very small parts and it won't flex around on the launch pad. By the way, speaking of launch pads, there are now rudimentary launch pads in the game. Yeah, it's all still very pre-alpha at this stage, but hey, that's what the developers announced, so don't expect any finished game yet. I still haven't got the hang of how fuel flow works here, especially with the new fairing and decoupler parts, and if there is anything like the cross-feed mechanism in Kerbal Space Program. So I had a bit of a difficulty to get the engines lighting up, but in the end I managed to fix that. And yeah, look at her go! I really don't think that would have been the real way how Discovery 1 would have been launched. And yeah, in the end it does not survive, because, yep, as I probably told you in a previous video, we already have vehicle destruction in the game. No explosions, unfortunately, those will be added later, but you can look up in the console what killed your vehicle. For instance, if the G load exceeds the parameters of the vehicle, you will see how many Gs it had endured before it, well, not exploded, just vanished. So yeah, the actual Discovery 1 would have been launched from orbit, so that's what we're going to do here as well. Interestingly, from what I was able to read up on Discovery 1, it had very limited delta V, so it only had something like 5,000 meters per second of delta V or something like that. So with the roughly 6,000 meters per second or so on board of this vessel, we're not really that far off, but I don't think it's going to be enough. So I'm going to be cheating here and refilling it via the console. Yeah, this is not really a realistic mission. I just wanted to get some eye candy out to Jupiter. And mainly I wanted to see whether or not I can use the build tools at hand to build something that somewhat resembles the original, because I do like to do some replica builds once in a while. Both in the book as well as in the movie, the moon Europa around Jupiter has a special relevance. Unfortunately, while we can get there in Kitten Space Agency, there is not really anything to do there, because it's still just a white placeholder sphere. And this is also something that prevents me from doing large-scale missions to Jupiter's moons, or to Saturn's moons, or to any other celestial body out there in the solar system in KSA, because right now it's all just placeholders, and from what we have heard from the developers, in the finished game, there isn't going to be the real-scale solar system, but sort of a fictional solar system. But there are a lot of real-scale solar system fans out there, so I do hope that they at least keep this as an option and maybe one day add some textures to all of the moons. I mean, they're probably going to refine all of their groundwork and terrain work and shadow systems and ground clutter systems, etc. before they will do that. At the moment, if you really want to see the eye candy and really want to see how the work on the surface is progressing, you need to stick to Earth and look at what's going on there. So I haven't planned a return journey for this because, well, there was no return journey for Discovery 1 either in 2001 the movie or the book. There was, however, a way for Discovery 1 to help return another ship in the follow-up film, sort of a sequel, 2010. While 2010, the year we made contact, was not as highly rated and well received as the predecessor, 2001: A Space Odyssey, I personally really liked that movie, also because it kind of redeemed a sort of super evil intelligence hell. At least it put an interesting twist on it. Well, as I said, I don't really want to do a big Jupiter 4 mission at the moment, until there's something to look at when I land on these spheres, except for white. But hey, I'm going to take your suggestion to heart and will do them once it's possible to do so. Or, I mean, it is possible now, but it's not really visually appealing, if you know what I mean. So let's do that at another time. But we can still experiment in the vehicle builder. So if you have any other ideas for weird spaceships or any other builds that I could attempt, let me know in the comments down below. I might be slow to respond because I'm on vacation at the moment, but the regular schedule will be upheld and there will be videos every Friday until I return. If you're one of my loyal Patreon followers, you will probably already have seen this video because I put all of them available on Patreon and for my higher tier YouTube members before I went on vacation. So if that's something that interests you and if you want to support this channel doing what I do, please head over there and look at the options. And if you go for one of the higher tiers, your name will show up here together with all of these wonderful people. Thank you so much for your support. While my journey takes me to a vacation spot, the journey for Kitten Space Agency is far from over and it's getting more interesting by the week basically. So really looking forward to what I'm going to find out once I return. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more and follow me on my social thingies. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.